Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship for StarCraft 2! We've had a fantastic Season 9 and a fantastic weekend of StarCraft 2 as well. It has been absolutely fantastic. We've seen champions fall along the way. We've seen CJ Hero crushed in the quarterfinal. And we've seen our previous champions such as Innovation and Life go out in the first round. Incredible scenes all through the StarCraft 2 tournament. But right now, we're down to just two. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the grand final! It's time to bring our players to the stage. Our first player has one Premier Championship to his name, but he wants the big one. He wants a World Championship to match his teammate from 12 months ago. Please make some noise for Jin Air Green Wings Trap! And his opponent is a double GSL champion in the past. He is also a Kesper champion. But right now, none of that matters. He wants the world title for himself. Please welcome KT Roaster Zest! Panel of hosts have been terrific all week long. They've delivered their expert analysis with brilliance for the last 3 days, and they are here once again in the grand final arena. Please make some noise for Frodan and the boys!
Thank you so much, Red Eye. Terrific job to you as well, and we're ready for this finals once again between Zest versus Trap. There's so much to talk about between these two players, these two Protoss players, and I'm gonna go to Todd. I promised you before the break, and I'm a man of my word.
How long
Todd,
do I have, though?
you have a little bit of time, so go ahead and talk about what's the first thing you want to discuss in this matchup head-to-head?
I think Zest a little bit here, because he's still being used a lot by his team as the ace in Pro League. And this can only mean one thing. He's showing great results in practice, and he's having a really hard time doing the same in tournaments. He's lost 3 of his last 3 Protoss versus Protoss matches in Pro League in the ace matches, so he's basically lost the whole match for his team then. So, been struggling here and there, and on the other end of the spectrum, you have Trap, who's been winning a lot. He won his last 8 matches against Protoss, beating big names left and right. He's on the same team as SOS, the winner from last year, who back then played some insane Protoss versus Protoss. So who knows, maybe Trap was actually the one behind SOS's victory. Maybe they trade secrets here and there. Maybe, they talk a lot about strategies. And yeah, he beat SOS even 4-0, but back at Battlegrounds made it look so convincing. So on paper, I feel like because of that, Trap might be the big favorite, but if Zest is able to play as well as he supposedly is able to in practice, he's really going to bring it as well. Yeah,
that's right. Stu, you were talking a little bit about some of the history between these two players, even some of the weird things like some of the predictions. In fact, it's so funny, the Ali Gulag prediction, it's a statistics site that predicted Trap to win it all despite the biggest names in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, this has to do with how many matches Trap actually has been winning. It's absolutely insane. This guy is on fire right now. He hasn't really dropped a whole lot of matches in. I think maybe his last 10 matches he's been winning. And it's against all different races as well. So Trap's on fire right now, and I think Zest might have some trouble because he hasn't had, we've been talking about how he's been slumping a little bit and maybe not had the same success rate as Trap.
Yeah.
But the interesting part here is that they played quite a lot in 2014. And Zest is actually the one that's been winning most of those matches.
All right, well, guys, I have to cut it short because Game Number 1 is already underway, and Apollo and Maynard are ready for our first map.
IEM Katowice, it is time!
Are you ready? The World Championship is about to begin. In fact, it already has. This PvP, game number 1, underway, and we're going to have Overgrowth as our first map. Tell us about this series, Apollo.
I'm very excited for these two players going head-to-head against each other for the World Championship trophy. It is now or never when it comes to running onto that stage, grabbing that trophy, and being called an Intel Extreme Masters World Champion.
Just 2 players remain, and let us introduce them without further ado. From KT Rolster, this is Zest! And in the top right, from Jin Green Wings, this is Trap!
Trap came into this tournament as an online qualifier. That is a big moment for this guy to play from the comfort of his own home to qualify for the biggest tournament of his life. And he has not disappointed making his way through to the grand finals here. He's beaten some of the biggest fan favorites in this tournament. Flash, Fantasy, Dark was another big favorite that the crowd got behind. But he's here with a massive winning streak against Protoss. He's got a lot of confidence. But even with confidence, when you go onto that stage, nerves absolutely are gonna creep in. And that's gonna be a huge factor between the both of them for the entire of this series.
Absolutely, nerves are a factor for everyone. This crowd is incredible, and it is 10,000 plus strong. How do you not feel it?
Well, you've got to buckle down and think about one thing alone, and that is StarCraft 2. Zest has done that multiple times before. He's won 3 StarCraft 2 championships in 2014, but as the boys mentioned, he has struggled in 2015. But out of nowhere, he's entered this tournament as a finalist from Toronto about 6 months ago. So it was even questionable whether he was going to be able to compete with the best of the best at this tournament. But he's made it to the grand finals, and here we go.
Trap coming in for the scout now, seeing what's up in Zest's main. Everything looking very hunky-dory.
Yeah.
Didn't see that extra pylon on the lip there, though.
But he does see double gateway. So both players have opened up here with pretty standard openings in Protoss versus Protoss. This is a very comfortable opening to go for a second gateway really early on, to be able to pump out 2 units at a time and just take control of the map a little bit more, or at least be safer if your opponent was trying to be aggressive towards you. You're just going to have a bit of a comfortable area to be able to move around with and feel safe.
The more map control, the more vision you have, the better, the safer you feel, so you know what's coming at you and how to prepare.
And both players now, with having 2 gateways down, they're both identical pretty much at the moment. As you can see in the middle of the map, Mothership Core, Stalker, a couple of probes moving around. They're looking to just get a little bit more of an advantage, and that is going to come from, can they get more information behind the double gateway? After you've chosen 2 gateways, you need to choose a tech choice or an expansion. So what is that going to be? And both players are looking for it.
The Mothership Core of Zest is actually being touched up a little bit here. We'll get to that high ground.
He doesn't want to lose it here. It's a very expensive unit to lose, and this is very important.
Right. He'll probably have to recall here. Oh, 1 shot away from... Oh my God, he actually got it. Great pickoff for Trap. And a bit of an awkward start here for Zest.
The Mothership Core isn't really an aggressive unit. He moved it out there. It's a very defensive unit. He moved it out there to try to find information. He wanted to go inside his opponent's main base to figure out what was going on, and he lost it already. That's a big blow to Zest and a massive confidence boost for Trap.
He's going to be feeling very good about that. Both players very similar in the work account. Zest opting for the Robo facility, Trap as well, so they've chosen Robotech here.
I think this makes a lot of sense. They've both taken an expansion, but both players are playing very safe. They're not rushing, they're not trying to be aggressive, they're not trying to kill each other very early on, and I think that's a very good approach to a best of 7 on the world's largest stage. You don't want to make mistakes, you want to just play comfortable, play safe, and then start to exploit and find weaknesses and tendencies that you can really hammer home against your opponent the longer this series goes on. But important to note, neither of them have any idea what this is. This could be Dark Templar, this could be a big attack that's coming very shortly. They're both sitting back at home, wondering what's next.
That's right, both players are indeed just being very defensive right now. I mean, Zest has already lost his Mothership Core once, and they're just sitting back and waiting and seeing what happens. Both players making Immortals.
Yeah, they're making Immortals before Observers. Observers is the scouting unit, but they're both chrono boosting out the Immortal to make sure they can have units out in case a big attack comes in.
And here comes the first scouting information. Both players hallucinated Phoenixes, about to glean what's going on.
Yeah, they're going to try to figure out what's going on. Trap has actually had a probe that saw the Nexus, so he's in a comfortable position, he knows what's up, and now he's going to go inside his opponent's main base and have a look. He sees 2 gateways and a robotics facility, and likewise Zest does the same. And from this point they say, oh, okay, you've actually opened the same as me. We're both in a very similar position. And now we're going to really focus on the mid game. The early game build orders have been skipped pretty much when it comes to aggression or teching up hard.
Both players with a very, very similar opening. It is starting to change up a little bit though. Trap is going to make a warp prism. Gonna try and see if he can get some drop play on the map here with a forge behind it for both players.
So both players going for a forge, both players looking to kind of get their upgrades in the game to make their units stronger the longer the game goes on. And we see a warp prism from both players, but Trap got it a little bit faster here. He's gonna start doing harassment damage with units inside the warp prism because with the setup that they have, there is no really anti-air that's going to be able to shoot the warp prism down to stop it from flying in, flying out, dropping these units, doing damage. Zest is doing the same, just a little bit later on, but he's going to have to be the more reactionary player because it's going to hit first.
You can use it in warp in for attacks as well as a sort of a mobile forward pylon, but of course drop play always a threat. And speaking of, we're seeing it happen down here on the left of the map. But a nice placed pylon here from Zest.
Yeah.
He will at least be able to see it before it gets anywhere near his
All right,
deck.
so Trap has already killed the mothership core early on of Zest, and now he goes for the second big blow into Zest. He's going to take a pylon, just maybe slow his opponent down, supply block him if he can, and see what more he can achieve. Only a pylon for now. Zest likewise, but Zest,
Just has to be careful here. Both Immortals got caught.
You cannot afford to lose that. That is so expensive. Immortals are an expensive unit. If he loses this, he loses map control, and remember, Trap still has his on the go.
Does indeed. Very expensive unit, a powerful, hard-hitting unit, and he's taken it. Oh, just got the pylon on the edge there. Doesn't lose any units. Both players just doing chip damage, but this looks like something a little bit more. The double Immortal drop in the natural of Trap here. Pick up micro. He does keep the warp prism alive. Both Immortals as well.
It's only got 47 hit points remaining, though, so he's got to be very, very careful about that. He does not want to lose this. And, of course, Trap is going to... He's actually moving Stalkers to the left-hand side. This could be a big moment. If these Stalkers are able to find that warp prism, it's going to try and escape. It's very close, but Trap isn't going to see it. He knows where it's probably hidden, and it was there a few seconds ago.
Just a few seconds too late is Trap. And both players switching into the Colossus tech with Twilight Council behind it, heading into Tier 2 as they finish their +1 upgrades. And Trap looking to take a third as well.
Yeah, they've tried to do a little bit of harassment, and yes, they have. They've slowed each other down just a little bit by picking off a unit or pylon here and there. But overall, neither of them have committed to building a large army. But now we're moving into the stage of the game where that can actually happen now. Colossus tech has been upgraded, or really has been built, and we're seeing them come out one by one. But there's one big difference between the two of them, is that we see a third base down for Zest, a third base down for Trap a little bit earlier than Zest. But Zest is moving out. He knows his third Nexus is there, so what he's going to probably try to achieve is take the middle of the map and see if there's an opening. He's going to have a look with that hallucinated Phoenix. Where is Trap's army? If it's too far to the right-hand side flank, what happens if he sneaks up the left and is able to kill the Nexus or find an opportunity? And very similar, Trap is doing the same.
Actually, Zest is just going to hold the watchtower here and watch Trap's army go by.
He knows exactly where it is, and there's 3 Immortals to where's 2, and there we see Zest warping in a couple of units. If Trap stays here, this is a massive opportunity for Zest to take a good fight and a winning fight.
Indeed. Zest pulling back.
But this is a good position for Zest to be in. He has map control. Right now, Trap sees very limited amounts of information. Trap doesn't know where Zest is. Zest knows exactly where Trap is, and Zest has put that warp prism to the left-hand side. And he wants to do damage towards this base, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case here as the Stalkers have moved.
The damaged warp prism did manage to escape the Stalkers there. Another warp prism on the left, though. One of Trap's warp prisms heading back towards Zest main, and with Zest concentrating on the scouting here, maybe able to pull a fast one. He did get the pylon vision from the edge, so he can hide. It's a little bit better as he comes in.
Yeah, pretty equal game between the both of them, but Trap, who did have that faster third base, does have a better income and is starting to pull ahead in terms of supply. Having a better income means he can build simply more units.
Absolutely. More production as well. Stargate going down for Zest. The warp prism in the main. Bit of a scrap here in the middle with the 3 Colossus of Trap.
Zest isn't ready. Zest isn't ready to fight.
He doesn't look ready at all. He's controlling the Immortals back here on this drop. 1 Colossus getting a little bit low here.
There's already a lot of damage being dealt here by Trap onto Zest's army. He may be able to go for momentum. And if he's able to get momentum, he could push towards his 3rd, but he's happy with just the Colossus pick-off. That was good enough of a win. Small damage over time is going to start to have more critical effects on the game.
Picking off that Colossus for pretty much for free was a great move there. Always a nice pick, a very expensive tier 3 unit. And Trap's Warp Prism still hasn't done too much in the main. In fact, it's been spotted and gets deflected without actually warping in anything.
All right, so definitely lots of small little victories here for Trap. That Colossus was a nice pick-off. But we see Zest furthering his tech even more now, so they go into another level of tech. We see a Stargate in a Fleet Beacon down. What he's looking to achieve is to bring Fleet Beacon, to bring Tempest into the game through the Fleet Beacon. If he's able to be able to get to this level of tech, he will deal with Colossus very easily. It's a big investment of resources, and he needs a lot of time. Within this time frame, he is very, very vulnerable to different types of attacks that Trap can do. Unfortunately for Zest, Trap doesn't know about it, but Trap at the moment is powering up with gateways. He's in the middle of the map. And if he takes a fight, this is a perfect time without knowing that it is.
Yeah, he's not aware of the tech shift here. He didn't scout it, but he is, in fact, just hitting this window. It's a brilliant decision from
and the high
Trap.
ground has not been taken here by Zest. He's buckled down on his 3rd, and Trap just walks up, and this is a perfect time for Trap to strike.
Will he be able to get the job done? Zest pulling back on the 3rd. Time Warp going down here. Doesn't manage to catch any of the units just yet. Trap taking it easy. The Mothership Core has been sniped down.
And that's actually going to push him back there. He's not feeling too confident in his attack. Of course, if he goes in and commits, the fight has to take place. There is no retreat, so he goes for a full commitment. But unfortunately, because of his lack of confidence, maybe nerves, maybe unsure if it is going to be a winning victory, he's giving time for the technology of the Tempest to come into play. And as mentioned, if they start to rise in numbers, Zest is going to have a good time in these fights.
He is indeed. Those Colossus are going to start getting picked off, and if you don't have Tempest of your own, your Colossus count can start to skyrocket.
Zest's army's out of position, though. He's bringing all of it to come defend that Warp Prism.
Yep. All these Tempests just need to be careful here. They could be sniped.
Yeah, look how much damage they do to the Colossus. That's exactly why he wants them in the game.
And they're about to pick off a low health one here on the left. A damaged one on the right here. Tempest doing a bit of hurt. The 3rd under a couple of Zealot sieges here is actually doing a little bit of probe damage. A lot of probe damage. 9 probes going down. Nice move from Trap.
Yeah, very nice move from Trap there. Pulls both armies to the left-hand side, then sneaks in to the right-hand side with a few Zealots, killing 12 of his opponent's workers, kind of crippling his income for a little bit here. Hopefully that slows Zest down enough to where Trap can start to climb up. As you can see, look at the mineral and gas difference between the both of them because of the different moves we just saw from Trap. Hopefully this gives him enough time to build up a good enough army to go against Zest. But Zest now has a very, very strong army to what Trap has. And he's going to be wanting to move out surely and look to push that advantage.
Trap is going to make a Stargate and a Fleet Beacon of his own to get his own Tempest up, because he is going to be up against the Colossus that he needs to deal with, and also to deal with the Tempest. But Zest obviously is going to have a Tempest count advantage.
And Trap knows that very shortly Zest is going to move out to really use these Tempests to his advantage. And because he knows this, he's invested money into the Dark Shrine for Dark Templars to counterattack. He's building a Warp Prism and still sending Zealots around, because if he can hold off against an attack while crippling his opponent's economy and infrastructure further, he will win the game. It's that simple. But the big question comes, can Trap survive against the Tempest count? His Colossus are going to die so fast, and they are the damage dealers.
They are, and they splash damage as well. They tear apart everything on the ground.
Oracle looking to find the army so he can use his spell of Revelation to just reveal the army where it is, giving the Tempest an ideal chance to shoot onto the Colossus.
He drops the Revelation, but it's not on the Colossus, it's on the Stalkers here.
Here we go,
He's
big fight. This could be win or lose for map number 1 right here, Maynard.
Trap hallucinating some Colossi here to try and miss the targeting of Zest. He's moving into a choke. The Tempest are targeting down the Colossus one at a time. They are hitting some of the hallucinated ones.
There's a bunch of Dark Templar from Trap that he's walked in, and they are doing so much damage to Zest's army!
Oh my god! Zest's army is dwindling here. Trap is pushing this back with the Tempest advantage. The Tempest advantage be damned, Apollo. He's pushing this all the way.
I can't believe that he didn't have an observer with the army, and Dark Templar just went straight to the army and have destroyed everything. That air advantage that Trap knew was going to be a problem He's dealt with it, he's pushing Zest back, and that was a big win for Trap.
These Dark Templar being real clutch for Trap during, for Trap during that attack. And he is going to counterattack. And what has Zest got back at home?
Not that much, not that much. But he's got to be careful not to overextend too far. He's just got to gather his forces and go again. There's still Dark Templar in here doing damage, but this is a great position for Trap. Remember the income difference between the two of them? That is still a big problem for Zest.
The charge loss of Zest are coming in. A couple of the Archons are down. Dark Templar still doing damage on the ground here. And the Observer only now just joining the fight.
Yeah, dealing a lot of damage here. And Trap is a little bit too eager. I think he's out in the middle of the map, and this is being punished by Zest. And all of a sudden, just like that, a flick of a switch, Trap is in trouble.
Such is the nature of this beautiful game, Apollo. One Colossus getting taken down on the back. Such an expensive unit. Trap pulling all the way back into his natural.
Yeah, and now both players are kind of in this position where, whew, that was a tense couple of moments. Trap going to continue on with the harassment with Dark Templar, but Zest at the moment has a small supply advantage, but a pretty big army supply advantage because his worker count is low. He's going to try and push the advantage, and Trap overextended, made a mistake, was punished for it, and now Zest, all of a sudden, after that really big fight, is looking to try to take map number 1 for himself.
He is indeed. He wants to press the issue here. His crosshairs are set on this third Nexus. The Colossus are shooting some probes on the edge here, but what he really wants is to destroy the army of Trap and kill the Nexus and really, really cripple his opponent.
Yeah, there is an Observer with this army for Zest, so Dark Templar not a bit of a problem. Trap waiting, trying to add as much to his army as he can before he goes in.
And some Tempest from Trap joining from the right here. That's actually doing a fair bit of damage to these Colossus from the back. Oh, a Warp Prison pickup here from Zest. A nice save.
Yeah, and that's great micro there by Zest. The Colossus staying alive for much longer than he thought they would.
They will eventually go down, actually. Oh, beautiful micro from Zest, keeping those Colossus alive. So sick. One does eventually go down, and they are going to dwindle in number, and the Archons are pushing through. Trap, what's he got left?
What's he got left? Not too much. The Tempest actually getting towards that Colossus, but there is a 4th base here for Trap, and he's had that for a long time, so he does have a decent income, and maybe he can build enough units to hopefully push this back. But another round comes in from Zest. He's getting into this 3rd base. He's killed 22 probes. So that income, not as good as it was before. And Trap, it felt like this was his game, but Zest has been able to turn it around, and it looks like he shall take the first map of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship Final. GG!